Terry Bogard is the greatest fighting game protagonist of all time. Now, while I know that statement may be a little subjective, there's no denying his desirable influence. He is SNK's perennial mascot and has a legendary yet simple character design with his trademark trucker cap and overall supreme babyface demeanor. Terry's popularity has transcended his home games as he's appeared in various titles of different genres. His latest incursion will be a part of Street Fighter VI's Season 2 as the first DLC character in the Street Fighter series, furthermore adding to the legacy of his ever-expanding historical significance. Seeing how amazing Capcom has created him in their own image with his extended moveset and beautiful animations, it really got me thinking, which version of Terry Bogard is the best Terry Bogard? When I say best, I'm talking about the one who rules all, the Terry who's considered to be the top of his game in terms of balance and placing top 5 on the tier list. And after looking through so many games that Terry is playable in, I've come to a startling conclusion. Our golden boy usually finds his place alongside the other mid tiers of that game. Fortunately for us though, we found a few Terry Bogards that were able to crack shoot their way up the ladder. You get it? You get crack shoot like you know, Terry's move, and also cracking through the glass ceiling to be the best. May I interest you in subscribing to the channel? How about some crack? Drug soliciting aside, let's get down to the bottom of this list by going to the very top to find out who is the strongest Terry Bogard. Fresh out of the gate, we got a strong Terry Bogard in the inaugural KOF game, KOF 94. 94 in particular is a fascinating game when it comes to ranking because you have to factor in the entire team on a tier list. For example, often considered the best team is Team Mexico, aka Art of Fighting Team, as all of them are strong, but more importantly play similar to each other, as opposed to say Team Korea, aka Kim Team, where Chang and Choi are both bottom of the barrel, yet Kim is solid mid-tier. Terry's single biggest strength is that he has the ability to two-touch every character with simple combos. You see, in 94, some normals and specials deal out amazing amounts of stun, making it a common occurrence in matches. Some characters need to land many normals, some even off jump normals just to get that stun, but Terry Bogard simply just needs to do close C into burn knuckle, which will guarantee him a stun every single time. Getting to close C isn't even a problem for Terry, as he can close the distance easily with some of his safe pressure like burn knuckle and utilizing crack shoot, as well as he can link into close C off of his crouch B, making his two-touch combo easy access. On top of that, Terry's Power Geyser desperation move is one of the best supers in game, since you actually get some use out of it in neutral. See, this game was from a time where super moves were still being figured out how to work properly in a bunch of fighting games, so most of the character supers either had some absolutely asinine inputs or a ton of startup frames, making them unusable outside of stun combos. Power Geyser, however, has a big enough hitbox to be used to call out for anti-airs on top of doing loads of chip damage. The kicker though is that this super is plus 10 on block. Hey yo, who programmed that? KOF 94 Terry's only weakness is having to pick Joe and Andy with him, and while they aren't bad in this game, it's just overall better to go with Team Akari or AOF since they have access to various top tiers instead of just one. Next up, we possibly have one of Terry's most infamous game inclusions, the King of Fighters 1997. For longtime KOF competitive players, you know exactly where this is going, but let's do a little build up. KOF 97 is a well-respected game. This is the first KOF where the overarching neutral and fundamental levels of the game starts to be formed and is used as a staple in future installments with enhancements to the movement and combo structure with the new advanced meter system. This is also one of the more significant plot-heavy games as it wraps up the Orochi saga, but for my die-hard tournament players, you know that this is the KOF of China. It's by far the most popular KOF there, and legends like Xiaohai and Dako begin to forge their stories through this title. Now with that out of the way, let's talk about our boy. Terry Bogard in this game is someone I would consider extremely solid. He has big damage off simple B&Bs. When it comes to normals, they're mostly standard, but he does have some of the standouts like his jump D. This jump heavy kick has a great extended hitbox on it, so it covers air-to-air approaches, can even cross up on bigger opponents as well, but its hidden strength relies in the instant overhead properties, which forces your opponent to think twice when they are blocking on their wake up. 97 Terry has one of the easiest super confirms yet again with his double hitting close C into Power Geyser or High Angle Geyser, your choice. His special moves are largely the same, but there's two that I want to go over. Power Wave is now an actual wave instead of a full screen traveling fireball. It's fast and also knocks down on hit. In conjunction with the upwards hitbox, it's ideal for mid-screen anti-airs and space control as it stops your opponent's advancements. The next special is Power Charge, which is a special move that gives Terry a juggle point and allows him to go into other specials or normals after the move is executed. Everything I've listed just seems good, right? Like there's nothing too out of the ordinary for this Terry, but what makes him so infamous? Oh yeah, that's right.
Yo, you wanna learn how to do a fucking infinite?
Yeah, remember I mentioned how Power Charge can give Terry a juggle point for other specials? What if that other special is just another Power Charge? That's right, Terry can infinitely juggle his Power Charge until his opponent is seeing the pearly gates. This infinite is so famous in the KOF community and one of the things people bring up when discussing KOF 97. And it's really easy to do, like I've literally just learned how to do this combo within 5 minutes while jotting down the concept for this video. And trust me, I have horrible execution. So if I can do it, anyone can. For those having trouble, here's a tip. Instead of doing the proper half circle forward input for the Power Charge, just use the shortcut of down back plus forward. The idea is you want to whiff cancel the stand light punch on the earliest frame of the Power Charge recovery, then go into the next Power Charge so it looks like this. This version of Terry is a madhouse. However, some tournaments only allow a few reps of the infinite or flat out ban the infinite entirely. Regardless, Terry is still a top 5 character and one that you should consider playing in KOF 1997. Third entry into this list, and we're just getting to Terry's home series, the Fatal Fury games, and that's not without reason. I've combed through various Fatal Fury games, looked through tournament footage and various tier lists, but all of them place Terry below the top 5. To be honest, most of Terry's appearances have been mid-tier in his competitive history, but he's never been outwardly bad. Still, I continue to look because surely there has to be a Fatal Fury game where the mascot is considered one of the best characters, right? And it turns out there's one game that actually places Terry in high regard, that game being Fatal Fury Wild Ambition. Alright, I'm 100% banking on a lot of you not even knowing what this game is, and that's fair because there's very little information on it, but I recommend watching Neo Geo Now's video covering its history if you're interested. So, Wild Ambition was sort of a Fatal Fury reboot made in 1999. Yes, the same year as Garo Mark of the Wolves, but this was on SNK's Hyper Neo Geo 64 arcade, a system for 3D fighters since that was all the rage during the tail end of the 90s. The Hyper Neo Geo was incredibly rare, as were the carts for the game, so most of the people that got to experience this game was through the one and only PlayStation port. When I tell you there's literally droplets of competitive footage or information out there, I'm not exaggerating. I found one instance of a tier list and it comes from an old thread from December 2009 by a user named Techromancer where he goes in depth on character strengths and tier list placements. Funny enough though, through Parsec and DuckStation, there has been some rather recent online tournaments where people have played the game. From the looks of Terry, it just seems that he plays the game well and has nothing too egregious. Strong buttons, excellent specials, solid damage, and overall easy use in a clunky 3D environment. But that just seems to be it. I'm leaving this up to you, comment section. If you decide to put an asterisk on this one, then that's totally fine. However, I find it hysterical that this is the only Terry Bogard in all of Fatal Fury to be rated top 5 on a tier list. With how he looks in City of the Wolves though, I think there's a great chance we might be able to purge this Wild Ambition Terry from the top of the Fatal Fury food chain. It's about time we jump into some of Terry's crossover ventures as a top tier. Enter SNK vs Capcom SVC Chaos, a game that's so over the top with broken bosses and unbalanced characters that Terry's relatively high position on the pyramid is quite the feat. It's almost like Terry knew he was gonna come into this game to be a problem just by looking at how expressive his idle stance is. Homeboy hasn't been this excited to punch someone's fucking face in since Geese killed Lily. Moving on though, I want to comment on just how complete Terry feels in this game compared to other characters. He got to retain all of his specials, supers, and combo routes, while some characters on the SNK side lost certain combos, and some characters on the Capcom side just didn't translate into the game overall. In addition, Terry has some of the easiest jumping combos due to the big hitbox on that jump D. I bring that up because this game has King of Fighters 2002's tiny hit stun on jump normals and even some light normals, making it hard to get jumping combos, and hell, some characters flat out don't even have light confirms because of it. Terry doesn't have that problem though, and he also has some of the best combo potential in the game, utilizing the game's maximum mode. In Max, you can cancel specials into other specials as well as supers. For Terry though, you can simply do his power dunk into crack shoot, rinse, repeat until you have a little bit of max mode or an extra bar, and then go for Bust the Wolf. And if that's truly not enough for how strong he is, Terry's ultimate attack, the Rising Beat, is his version of the Deadly Rave, where you do manual inputs with a big explosion at the end. However, just like the Deadly Rave, you can halt a combo midway to link into other buttons, thus increasing the damage potential. Speaking of supers, Bust the Wolf in this game has to be one of the most ignorant supers of all time. It only costs 1 bar and it travels full screen to catch anything. It has a great deal of iframes on top of that too to bust through misplaced normals and bad neutral options from your opponent. And if that's still not enough, it's relatively safe on block. The only way you can challenge it on defense is by trying to do the dash step mechanic, but you need meter for that and it has to be immediately after punch, not something you can constantly do in the heat of the battle. Terry is one of the strongest non-boss characters in the entire game, But that being said, he still has to compete with the boss characters who have their own brand of bullshit. Thankfully for him, half of the bosses aren't even tournament legal. Let's take a trip back to EVO 2018, where we got a glimpse of such a promising future with one of Terry Bogards' first guest appearances. Eureka is showing off the trailer for their new DLC characters and their very new fighting game,
Fighting EX Layer.
And right at the end of the trailer, we get a quick shot of our one true boy, Terry Bogard. Little did we know that this screenshot would come with such ominous, foreboding, hungry wolf, big energy, cause holy Fighting Layer's Terry Bogard is a personification of optimization, a true pioneer of guest characters being strong to increase sales. Now I know that could be a rugged accusation, but your honor, as I lay my hand upon the fighting game Bible here, I think I have enough evidence as proof. First off, Terry has amazing normals in his game. In fact, he's one of the few characters to have his own set of normals. You see, Fighting Layer, as great as a game as it is, didn't have the biggest budget, so you'll see various characters sharing most of the same normals and attacks as each other. Terry's neutral game is powerful. Since a lot of the game revolves around dashing and combos, his stand medium kick, heavy punch, and power wave are good examples for stopping careless opponents in their tracks. Fexel implemented all of his iconic special moves and gave him a brand new command grab for some reason, just so he can literally have every tool you can think of. Rising Tackle was the best it's ever been, as it hits on both sides and gives Terry cross-up protection, as well as being a solid reversal as it doesn't advance him too much. Burn Knuckle gets turned from a standard combo enter into Terry's best combo extender. Speaking of combos, Terry has the best combo potential out of anyone in the entire roster. Power Geyser can be comboed off Burn Knuckle and juggles your opponent, allowing Terry to run up and get some crazy extensions. As long as he has meter, the sky is the limits. He can get these combos off anti-air crouch heavy punch cancels, as in Fexel's engine, it allows for you to juggle opponents with a special move after an air-to-air or ground-to-air normal, no matter if the opponent was in a reversal state or a counter hit state, giving Terry low committable options into very high damage. Fighting Layer also has a unique system called the Gogi. Gogis are decks that characters can use that have different properties to increase variety amongst playstyles. For example, Nightmare Gogi has a meter gain effect when near the opponent. Double Face has heads or tails, which is a feature that allows you to either chain all 6 of your normals or give you complete body armor instead. Some characters have specific Gogis to use for them, while Terry can use a large portion of the Gogis, which makes him highly versatile. Since Terry's release, he's been a constant top 3 character throughout the various patches and updates the game received. A massive threat to the meta, and I didn't even fully explain everything, but I recommend watching high-level matches of Terry on various Fexel YouTube channels, or you can pull up my fellow commentator Arneezy's tier list video and see exactly for yourself.
Okay. Well, I would definitely agree with you that Terry's #1. I don't think that'll ever change anytime soon.
Anti-air into outplayed. Heart attack into outplayed.
Yep.
Double face Terry into outplayed.
Assuming we hit. If I, with Terry, hit a crouch medium kick on the same frame that you hit crouch medium kick with another character, who do you think's gonna win?
I don't know, but why do you think this exists?
The final top tier Terry we will be covering today is none other than KOF 15. If you've watched or played any KOF 15, especially on release, then you know exactly which version of Terry I'm talking about. KOF 15 being a modern fighting game means that it's in line to have many updates and balance changes as the months go on to improve the game and keep player retention. But I want to rewind time back to the first 3 months of this game's lifespan, which we refer to as KOF 15 1.0, and talk about the meta known as VRT. VRT are the initials to the strongest team composed of Point Vanessa, Middle Ralph, and Anchor Terry. This is a video about Terry's strengths, so I won't dive too much into why his teammates were broken, but let's just say that they played the game for you at a time where the meta was still being figured out and they were easily abusable by players of all levels. 1.0 Terry Bogard is what you would call the perfect anchor. He had easy meter dump combos that led to big damage, big normals that helped him lead into set damage, and he had really strong special moves, some of which could rob the opponent in a volatile environment. Since Anchor Terry comes in with 1 to 2 bars minimum, that means that any normal gets turned into a max confirm, and just doing 2-bar low max mode combos leads to 50% damage. It was like his moves didn't have any scaling. Hell, give him an extra bar or 2 and a jump in and you will be losing upwards to 80 or 90%, all because you made one mistake and that wasn't blocking correctly. Terry also had possibly the best EX move in the game at the time, which was EX Crack Shoot. This move was hella annoying as it was a damn near unreactable overhead that knocked down on hit and was safe on block, meaning that even if you guessed correctly, you still couldn't punish Terry. This move was key in Terry players stealing games at the very last second of rounds when people were so hyper-fixated on other tactics dealt to them. Terry's power dunk, which gets used multiple times in his combos, had more hits of guard point and didn't scale combos at all, which is why his B&Bs and meter combos were so good. Fortunately for the non-Terry mains though, we only had to deal with this version of him for roughly 3 months, as on May 16th, SNK dropped an update that severely changed up the meta of strong teams like VRT and added the team of Southtown bosses. But considering the next crop of top tiers, did we complain too soon? And that concludes this list of all the Terrys we have for today. We have both Street Fighter 6 and Fatal Fury City of the Wolves on the way, with Terry looking highly impressive in both of them, so let's see where he ends up. I want to thank you all again for watching this video and supporting the channel. Because I am Rome himself, you've been great, and I'll see you next time.
That's all for now, fighters. But if you've enjoyed what you've seen, be sure to like, comment, and subscribe. Also, don't forget to follow Rome's social media pages down below. Take care, see you next time, and most importantly, thank you for watching.